Today on Crazed Performance Repair, we are going to be covering a lot of the issues and things that people that have displacement on demand GM engines are needing to know. You guys have been asking a lot of questions, and I would like to cover some of those on a quick video to make sure I cover what I have possibly missed on any of my other videos. I have several things, including a new part that I'm going to be offering for sale, so stay tuned. Alright, so let's get digging into this. I have some notes below me to make sure I cover as much of this as I can. A lot of people have been asking me about why, when they do what they do, they lose power. So what they're doing many times over is they're trying to do the VLOM modification, and they remove these solenoids, or they don't do the VLOM modification, they just leave this unplugged. And you can do that. That's not a problem, as long as you get the tune done. Now, what happens is these people are doing this. You're leaving these solenoids unplugged, unconnected to the computer. If the computer is not tuned, not told that the system has been disabled, that the system is no longer in use, if you have not had the computer programmed for that, the throttle will not work. If it does, it'll be very minor. It'll let you just bring the RPMs up a little bit, but it won't actually do much of anything. And that is because the computer sees a problem. The range device, the OBD2 plugin, will not take care of this. I want to make that clear. You have to have a tune. It will not solve the problem if you do any kind of VLOM modifications or leaving it unplugged. So with that, make sure you get the tune done. The tune is the way to go. Another note on that issue is if you have had a lifter failure, avoid using the range device. The range device is perfect for people trying to prevent the failure, but people who have already had the failure, it's not a good idea to use that range device. Many times the OBD2 connector is not only connected with power from the cigarette lighter, which is also your form of power that you get for charging your cell phones, etc., but that fuse for that system, if that fuse blows, your range device won't work. So if you blow the fuse and you don't realize it, you drive down the road, you're going to have your lifter get locked up again. Also, if you get in the vehicle, you bump that range device, it falls off, you go down the road, guess what? You're going to be having the issue again. So the range device is really good if you don't have the problem yet. That's perfect. If you're under warranty yet, the range device is perfect. I will throw a link below for the range device, as well as the HPTuners. Now, HPTuners, we need to cover some of that stuff as well. The credits related to HPTuners. Some vehicles require 2 credits, some require 3 credits, and the newer stuff might even require more. I'm not positive on that, and asking me is not the most optimal way to go about it. The best thing for you to do is go to HPTuners website and look up your particular vehicle, see if it can be tuned. First off, there are some hybrids that are not able to be tuned. I have been told that HP does not work with the hybrids. So with that, make sure you go to HP's website. They will tell you how many credits you're going to need and whether your vehicle is covered or not. They pretty much cover everything as far as GM is related and any of this displacement on demand. The Saabs I haven't looked into. It may or may not be covered. The Australian cars, there's some of those with it, may or may not be covered. I'm not totally positive. Go to their website. I'll throw a link below. That's going to be the best solution for finding out whether it's covered or not. Asking me, I do too much, but I don't do enough. So I can't know everything, but I know as much as I can, I guess. So there's that. There are other devices out there that can tune these vehicles, other brands, other companies that make tuning software and capabilities of doing the tunes. HPTuners is by far the most used product for tuning these vehicles. That's just the product that I use, so that's the one that I know. Any others that might be out there, they may or may not be able to do it, but I'm not going to say for sure whether X company can or cannot do it, because I don't know. If you are X company and you see this video, please inform me, let me know. I will help push your product if the cost is right and you can turn off the displacement on demand. Wow, that was hard to say. So if you can turn off the displacement on demand, let me know. throw me an email or something. My email is in the description. Alright, so on the VLOM, the modifications that are being done, I have a new product that I'm offering for inside this. Now, if you've seen my VLOM mod video, you know that I plug this oil passage here, and I have found a piece that I can buy that I'm able to modify with minimal effort in order to make it work for plugging this. And so I'm going to offer this little item, which goes in here, okay, with the push rod. I'm still a little wishy-washy on price, but I'll put the prices down in the description below. That way I can change them. Now, as you know, the push rod has been $25 is what I sold it for before, and it's still actively at $25, but shipping and handling always gets you, so don't be surprised when you see the finished price of the product with shipping, handling, and tax, because I have to get my tax. That's just part of doing business. So this little plug here, now you can see it has a slot in it. That slot is for expansion contraction. A couple people told me that the size of the hole, or the sizes that I gave them on my VLOM mod video, was not correct. So I went down in the description, I modified it, and told them that they have to size it according to their item. But now I have actually decided the slot is the best solution. But when the slot is in here, you have to make sure the slot does not line up with the oil hole. So you want to make sure that slot aims away from the oil hole, pound that thing in with a socket, and you'll be good to go. It'll be just like this one here. So you can see the slot there. The oil hole is on this side. That slot can be pretty much anywhere as long as it's away from that oil hole. So if it's over there, it's fine. All the way to over there, it's fine. As long as that oil hole that's going through into there is covered up. Now with blocking that oil hole, you can do an above and beyond step if you like. It's not necessary, but if you want, feel free to put a little Loctite on here when you push that thing down in there. It'll help seal the oil hole even better, but it's not really necessary because from the factory, these things are designed with such high volume oil pumps that a little bit of leakage won't hurt a thing. Once you get that hole plugged, then the VLOM mod has the solenoid pack that we address as well. Here is that little kit of mine, just so that you guys can see. I have this packaged in the foam. I don't know if I'm going to make fancy packaging. Probably not. I got 3 of them like that, so if you get lucky enough to get the fancy packaging, woohoo, you know. We have this VLOM here. Now, if you pull these solenoids off and you pull the gasket out where these deals are, that's fine and dandy. But if you need to leave this hooked up so that you can go down the road to get to a tuner, it will run like crap when it goes into 4-cylinder mode, but it will be able to drive. But if you need to be able to hook this up so that you can get to a tuner, there is an option available to do that. Basically, you have to leave these in place. You can plug the oil passage and then take these guys, and you want to bust these off or take a side snips and just snip this. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and snip one right now just for the sake of you guys seeing what I do, or what you have an option of doing what I don't do. But so you can take, and you can just take your side cutter, right? Cut that piece of plastic there, and then if there's any seal left over, like this guy has, just pull it out of the way. And now the oil that comes up that tower, so that oil pressure actually comes from the back side of those lifters as well. And when this system is deactivating those lifters, it's actually adding oil pressure to deactivate those lifters. So if you do this, it'll make sure that no pressure can build up no matter what kind of failure you might have with this that causes those lifters to collapse. It will no longer cause an issue if you have this cut and the oil galley plugged. Now, if you forget to plug the oil galley and one of these solenoids is stuck open allowing the oil to flow, you will have an oil pressure issue. So be sure that you do this correct. You get that oil galley plugged and you cut that. That'll eliminate you having the problem come back again. And that's, of course, assuming the solution is 100%. It's not. So you guys have been told, and you know, nobody's really accused me of saying that it works 100% because it doesn't. It is not a 100% guarantee that this tool will release that lifter. There have been a few of you that it has not released. If that happens, the VLOM modification is still worthy of doing because Well, as long as you don't go full DOD delete cam and all. But the VLOM modification is still worthy of doing because you are going to prevent the lifters from collapsing again after you replace them. And then you still want to get the tune done because, again, it helps prevent the lifter from collapsing. So if the lifter never collapses from being commanded to collapse, it will never lock up and cause a problem. As far as the odds of this tool working, they are very high. If you just look at the comments on my videos, you see a lot of people that have had great success with using this tool or making their own tool even and getting it to work. One thing that I want people to know that have been asking me about is, can I just replace the lifters? Can I just put the non-DOD lifters in? So these guys here are a non-DOD lifter. This is what the DOD lifter is. There's two designs of this DOD lifter. One is this one here, and this piece can rotate. Now there is another design. This one's all mangled because this was one I couldn't get apart, but it has a little deal in here, and it's got a little lineup pin inside this that it's like a slot inside the lifter that it lines up with, and it cannot be twisted and turned. This one can. This one cannot. This is obviously the inside of another lifter. So there's that guy. Now, if you put all these lifters in and you get rid of these lifters, it will have a misfire. I promise you, it will have a misfire on 4 cylinders unless you replace the camshaft. You have to do that if you decide to eliminate these lifters. The cam lobe profile is different for these lifters than what it is for these lifters. So, very important that you do not replace those lifters without a camshaft. And then the last and final note I wanted to make on this video about doing this DOD cheap fix that I came up with for you guys is once you release the lifter, there is a trick that you also should watch. I'll throw the link of the video above, but there is a trick that helps make sure that you get it on the first try. Now, people have been releasing these, starting it up, collapses again. The reason it collapses again is because it's going too fast for these locks to fully engage, and it has overextended. So when you pull the rocker off, this will overextend slightly. It'll be like that because these locks cannot engage fast enough to grab the little ledge that's in there. So you'll hit this, it'll pop out like this, and then it'll be sitting there like that until you go to crank it over, and then it'll just shoot down so fast that it jumps over and locks up again. The trick to solving that is once you release it, so you put the tool in, you pop that free, okay? Then you're going to take your factory push rod, leaving it in there, and you're going to tap, tap, tap until you feel it go solid. And then you're going to put the rocker on, turn the motor over manually, just with a wrench. It's a 24 mil socket. As far as I know, on all of them, it's a 24 mil socket on the front of the crank. Put that in there, turn the motor over, make sure that that rocker arm does its full movement like it should. Make sure it matches all the rest of them. If it matches all the rest of them, you know this is locked up and become engaged. You can possibly verify even furthermore, which I have not done yet because I don't know, maybe it's unnecessary, maybe it's not. But once that rocker arm has been full tilt and you have full spring collapse, it's about to go back the other way, take and tap this end of the rocker arm just lightly and see if it goes sink. If it sinks down, then you know it didn't stay. Don't tap hard by any means, just real lightly, because you may still have these things stuck because of the shelf that's in there, and it's just on the edge of the shelf. It's still lifting the rocker, but it's seized up just a little bit. So there is a chance that no matter what you do, you won't be able to get it. There's also a chance that when you start it up, it'll collapse again. Hopefully not. Most people are having good luck with it. Hopefully you have good luck. And with that, I'll end this video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the thumbs up. Greatly appreciate that thumbs up. And if you want this tool, it will be available very, very, very soon, like next week soon. But I have to come up with and print out some instructions because I don't want anybody installing it incorrectly. So like, share, subscribe. Hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.